Hello, everybody. Welcome to Left Hand, Right Brain. Doing it on the town edition, I suppose. I don't know what to call it exactly. Um, kind of do more like tutorial based videos, or just kind of how to things. So this one's going to be what it's like or how to hit up an open mic here in Denver, Colorado. This is 2024. So this is what it's like these days. All right. I don't know what it's like in other places, but I imagine it's pretty much the same. Okay. So what I did was I went on uh, the computer and was like, hey, I'm looking for, you just Google uh, comedy open mics in town or near me, whatever. If you did that in Denver, you're going to get directed to 5280.comedy.com, which is probably the longest running source for comedians looking for shows, podcasts, anything comedy related in Denver and Colorado in general, because they also have, open mics going on in Loveland, Fort Collins, the Springs, all over the place. There was one in Durango not too long ago, or that they used to post about. So all over, you can find out open mics, shows, podcasts. They do all those things, but I was looking specifically for open mics, and then you can even really niche it down to open mics on a Monday night. This is a Monday night, as you can see by the lighting here. I tried to get a light in here, but it was a little too distracting, So hopefully the lighting's not terrible, and you guys can bear with me on this. Yeah, it's about 9 o'clock on a Monday night. I got off work and I'm going to a mic now. Went home, ate a little, spent some time with the wife, had a little din, uh, chimichurri steak and a Mediterranean veggie medley. That's what I should say. Y'all know what it is. Your boy eating healthy. So yeah, so you can look at that. 5280 comedy is probably the one most people are directed to. You could also go to disjointed pod.net, and that's where you could find another resource with all the open mics and stuff listed there as well. Shout out my boy David Germain for constantly updating that, getting that website, or getting that resource for comedians to use is invaluable. Yeah, so they might not always be up to date. They might not always be, because it's probably the domain and websites run by a local comic. I know the 5281 has gone through many hands since I started comedy, and depending on how motivated the person who's running it is at the moment or at that time, can vary. So not every mic might be up to date, but it's the best resource we got, unless you're in some kind of like Facebook group or something like that. Yeah, there's like local comedy scene, Denver comedy scene is a group you could join on Facebook, and you can get up to date things. And it's always nice to know who the host is. 5280 will give you that information, who the host is, what time it is. It's usually what time sign up is and what time the mic starts. So like tonight, I'm going to go to Irish Rover. It's probably one of the longer running mics here in Denver at the moment. It's been going on pre-pandemic. So, not a lot of things, especially open mics, made it past the pandemic. So that's high praise for them. Oren B is the comedian who runs the show, produces it. He's been doing that for a long time. He's put a lot of his heart and soul in there. So thank you so much, sir, for providing this place for comics to do this. The venue also has to be willing. So I know he was an employee that started doing comedy, got into comedy, and just loves comedy and has kept this mic running for so long. So, and there's usually people there, because that's also something that you want to look for in an open mic is there an actual audience, not just other comics waiting to go up, because that's not going to be ideal for figuring out whether a joke actually works or not. Comedians all in their heads, either looking at their own notebooks or phones. They're not a good gauge of whether a joke is good or not. But you can get some tips and stuff if you have a close group of friends that you go with, or if you started with a group of comics, you can bounce ideas off, watch each other's sets, give each other notes. But for the most part, you're just a lone wolf like myself, getting out there. So if it's invaluable to have audience that can actually give you honest feedback on a joke. So yeah, with all that said, there's a lot of different mics in town. There's multiple tonight. Like tonight, they had Black Shirt Brewing, they had Long Table, and then after this mic, the only like really late night mic left in Denver, Colorado is the Lion's Lair, which I know for a fact is Denver's longest running comedy open mic. Damn near 20 years. I think it's a little less. It's less than 20, more than 15. That's for sure. That it's been going. So that also great mic too. I mean, but that one is that one might not want to be your first mic you go to. Just throwing that out there for any new aspiring comics. That one's a rough one. That's one where you really cut your teeth. You really show what you're made of as a comic. I've seen people go up there and leave crying. It's not a very forgiving mic, but it's friendly. It's good. I think it's worth going to those kinds of mics because you really gotta test your stuff. See if your jokes can win over a crowd that is not there to pay attention to you specifically. So I mean that's just a dive bar down on Colfax. It's really gritty, down salt of the earth, you could say. All right, salt of the earth. Might get stabbed outside. It's happened before. No, I don't know if it was a comic that got stabbed, but there was a stabbing that happened outside of that venue. So, people have gotten beaten up after mics for what they've said. Sometimes when you're trying to get the crowd on your side, or even just to pay attention, crowd work can go wrong. All right. So, I mean, and I've got stories of all that going back to 2011, if not further back. Should check that out. I think one of the early Sam Talent episodes of Left Hand Right Brain you should check out. I think the very first one I do with him, he talks about someone attacking a comic on stage and then them running him down and a couple comics beating him up in a parking lot because he, went after a comic. So, there is a community, at least, if you, stick around as a comic, you might not be welcomed with open arms right away. But if you stick around, put your time in, work on your jokes and get funnier, that's what comedians value overall, or are you funny? So, and then, you just eventually become one of them, one of us, if you will. I say one of them because I don't even consider myself one of the old guard that when I started out, there's like a different class. I was like a senior class of comedians that I don't even consider myself part of at this point. I've been doing comedy for 10 years for sure. That's when I started going out to my first open mics. I might not have been super committed those first like 2 to 3 years. But I've got them under my belt. I've been going to open mics for a long time now. So I thought, that's probably why I can give back or just, have some entertaining content, really. Hopefully if someone will watch this and I can start building my channel. You ASMR people will know who that is. All right. Shout out. I don't remember her name. She's an ASMR artist. She refers to her followers as her little bees. So, not like you guys, the Brain Trust. Welcome to it. If this is your first episode of Left Hand Right Brain, I got a whole backlog of podcasts, all kinds of things I've done, mostly in the podcast format, not a lot of video until this past year, but there is a plethora of content for you to consume in the backlogs. All right. Left Hand Right Brain Pod.net is where you want to go to see any of the new pods, get any of the other pods under the LHRB banner. I got Los Chupacabros, Dead But Not Forgotten. Let's Get Drunk and Talk About Your Wedding stuff still on there. Just if you want to check out any of the old stuff, it's all on Apple, iTunes, wherever you get your pods. You can find Left Hand Right Brain. So I even had Oren B on the podcast. So he's the guy who runs this open mic. So any advice for a new comic? I mean, if you're going to go to a mic for the first time, there's going to be a list there. You can ask another person who looks like they're waiting to go up, or the bartender. You could, if you know what the host looks like, go up to the host, introduce yourself. Let them know it's your first time, or it's your first couple times, and you just looking to get some stage time. And if there's a list they can put their name on, they'll usually give it to you. Some open mics cap their list at a certain number, but most don't. So like now, I'm super late going to Irish Rover. I think he puts out the list hella early. He puts the list out at like 4. Probably when the bar opens, and then some comics get there super early. They put their name on the list and they fuck off for like 2 hours or whatever, 4 hours. Come back and the show starts. The mic actually starts at like 7:30 or 8. So, and it's 9:09 now. So I'm already late, but I'm definitely gonna get up last if in the later half of the later part of the comedy show, if not last, at this point. But that's just kind of what it is at this point. My day job is kind of prohibiting me from getting to these mics at an earlier time. But if it is your first time at a mic, it does behoove you to get there early, be prepared to stay almost the whole time, okay? And it will help you if you are participating in the show. If you sit down at one of the chairs in the audience, you don't just skulk in the back with all the other jaded comedians waiting for their time. A host will clock that, and if you bring a bunch of friends to an open mic, so you fucking tell all your friends, and then there's 25 people there just waiting to see you, the host is going to be more likely to put you later because he wants to keep the audience that is there for the bulk of the show. So just be prepared for that. You might go up last, even if you signed up first, or no matter where you signed up. Most mics do not go by the list. So what you should never do. When am I up?
Don't do that. It's really annoying. And like 900 people come up and ask me that same question every night. Why would you do that? Don't do that.
So you're not more inclined to let someone up when they ask you, am I on the list?
No, that makes it more difficult. And it makes you not like you more.
You got a pretty big list there. Got a master list.
Yeah, and it's like this person asked me like 19 times when they're going up. I'm like, leave me alone. You're not the only person that's doing that.
That was a big point of contention back when, right after COVID, once we started coming back from the lockdowns, there was a big wave of new comedians that, didn't want to wait their turn in a sense. They did wait their turn, I guess. So that, to be fair to them, they put their name on the list, waited their turn, and were skipped over by, maybe the host has more of their friends there that they want to put up, or they just have, more seasoned comics go up earlier because they want the show, quote unquote, to go good. I don't consider open mic shows because they're not like booked. You don't get paid to do it, but the host and the venue.
This is Showcase of the Mondays. It starts at 8 o'clock every Monday night. No hell or slide.
Probably consider them more of a show. So they definitely don't want, 8 new comics who are doing it for the first time to go up in the first 5 comics, because then the people who are at the bar are going to leave because, you probably suck, which is just how everyone starts out, is sucking. Nobody comes out of the gate Brian Regan, all right? And even if you do well your first set, that's what keeps you coming back. A lot of people talk about, oh, my first set was good, so that's what kept me coming back. And then I didn't do it good again for another year. But knowing that it can go good is what keeps people coming back. This reasonable amount of unreasonability, as Kevin Smith calls it, that to have when you're pursuing your dreams in general, but even comedy, because comedy is a fickle mistress. All right, she's like the sea. She'll lure you in with the beauty and the promise of a life, her siren song, and then only to be dashed on the rocks. So I hope I prepped you enough. I hope I didn't scare you, but a lot of things in entertainment, especially like acting, comedy, anything a lot of people want to do. I mean, a lot of the beginning things are meant to weed you out. For the people who don't really want it, that whole beginning part is meant to keep you from doing it and just giving up. So if you really still want to do it after all that, then you did earn your spot. One of the big questions I ask people, one of the questions I ask people the most at the end of the podcast is what gives you the right? And a lot of comics say, as I waited my turn, I put my name on the list. I waited there. I listened. I watched the comics. If you could be an active participant in the show, that's also a plus, because the host will clock that. He might not necessarily put you up sooner, but I think it's good, to be a comedy fan. If you can stay a comedy fan while also doing comedy, then you're doing it right, I think. Myself included, most comics are a little jaded towards comedy, so it's hard for us to continue to care what other comics are doing on stage, especially local stuff, or even just watch other comedy specials, things like that. But at a certain point, it's important to go out and see pros doing comedy, because if you stay in your open mic loop, if you're only seeing the same people go up over and over again, you are an amateur at that point. And it doesn't at a certain point, it behooves you to go and see pros doing their thing, because you'll pick up tips and tricks and things that everybody does in entertainment, comedy specifically, to that, how they control a room, how they deal with hecklers, how they command a room, how they, build their jokes up, how much, minute laughs per minute is also a big thing that I hear a lot at Comedy Works, which is the local comedy club. I mean, we have an improv as well, but the big one is Comedy Works, the one that most comics will talk about. So, so I just pulled up here to Broadway. I'm on Lincoln, but I'm going to park here on Lincoln, going to walk up to Broadway. All right, and we'll get our names on this list. And we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll video me coming up to the thing as well, or coming up to the mic, so you can see what it's like. Okay, yeah, so now I'm back on Broadway. Let's block my car, walking down now to the open mic. And this is, pretty embarrassing. Just to make sure my audio's still going. It's embarrassing to do, but I want to start doing more video stuff. So this is just kind of what it is at this point. These are my old haunts here, Broadway. I'm walking past Mutiny Information Cafe, one of the best places here in town, for sure. Get your books, records, coffee, great place. So now we're coming up on the comedians. It's going to be a bloodbath. They're going to crucify me for doing this, but it's all for you. It's all for the viewers. All right, let's see it. All right, let's see if we can get hey, how's it going?
But if you
What's up, guys? Hey, how's it going? We got LHRB All-Star right here. Check out his episode, Left Hand, Right Brain. It was a good one.
Yeah, that was probably the best episode that JP has ever had.
Wow. Okay, well, Lincoln over here is doing well, so okay.
I'm not a man.
Who are you?
I could ask you the same thing, buddy. Okay. All right, so now we go in. All right, and I'm going to turn the slide off. It's pretty bright.
Anyway, let's keep the show going, huh? Give it up for Jackson Hellenthal, guys. His mom's a fucking bitch. Give it up for her, too, I guess. Anyway, one away is Garrett Nygren, but up next, Rennell Hardin, everybody. Give it up for Rennell Hardin.
I think he left.
Shit. Okay, anyway, one away is actually going to be JoJo Pride. But up next is Garrett Nygren. Garrett Nygren.
Did he go outside too?
Oh, there's Rennell Hardin, actually. I guess everybody's just all willy-nilly All around the block, it's fine.
I was outside, fuck you.
How much time do people get here at this mic?
They get 3 to 5 minutes.
And you light them when?
I light them. If you see the light, you get 1 more minute. Usually, if you're newer, you get about 3 minutes. If you've been doing it for like 10 or 15 years, you get like 4 or 5 minutes. It also depends on how you're doing. If you're not doing well, I'm going to light you.
All right.
But you get at least 3 minutes.
Get off when you see the light, huh?
If you see the light, you have a minute. Wrap it up.
All right.
And then there's the New Testament, which is like, just kidding, there's like more shit. It's not that perfect. There's like a new savior in town with abs and stuff.
Anyway, 108 is JD Lopez. Up next, make some noise for LaShae Lees. There she is. Look at her go.
All right, I gotta get out of here. Bye.
Make some noise for JD Lopez. JD Lopez.
Hello, everybody. Hello. I just want, if the comic who was up here with his rollerblades is still here or outside, maybe he left his Crocs over here, so I'll just put those here for now. Or if anybody wants a pair of Crocs, I'm selling them. All right, $5 a pair, $2.50 each. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm JD Lopez. My wife and I were recently invited to a dog's birthday party. I don't know if anybody's been invited to one, but I don't know. I love dogs. I have a dog. I have a basset hound. You know, I always wanted the fulfillment of a lifelong dream. I have a little basset hound named Sergeant Pepper. I know, very cute. But then you get a dog, and then you start getting invited to dogs' birthday parties. You know, and I don't know. I think I don't know I just think it's a dog fighting ring waiting to happen. Okay, you know, because this dog it's a rescue. You know, I know the dog is a rescue, so it's like, do they even know the dog Zodiac? You know, it's like I don't know if I want my purebred little precious baby fraternizing with these mutts. You know, I think there's going to be a lot more tail wagging or tail biting and a little less tail wagging. Okay, I don't know. I just feel like all these dogs are from the pen. You know, the shelter, if you will. You know, I don't want them cornering my dog and being like, hey, you ever serve any time, any hard shelter time, you know? A rough kennel life out there, you know, for some of these dogs. Did I already say that if white women do it, it's a birthday party, but if Michael Vick does it, it's a scandal? It's like, damn, I can't remember if I did that part or not. I don't know, white women be crazy out here, all right? They're throwing dogs' birthday parties, all right? My wife, she joined a witches cult. She's white too, so just throwing that out there. Yeah, she joined a cult, or coven is what she calls it, you know, more of it's a witchcraft light, if you will. I guess that's why they call it a coven. It's the white claw of witchcraft, if you will. But yeah, you know, I was raised Catholic, so the dark arts always triggers me, you know, it gets brought up, and my buddy was like, do you think she's ever put a spell on you? You think she's ever cursed you? And I was like, well, you know, I have lost 50 pounds, but I'm constantly hungry, but only for pussy. I don't know. Maybe there's something there, you know. You know, it does make it hard to have arguments with my wife when she gets into witchcraft. You know, like we might have an argument about something silly, but then she goes out. She's like, I just need some space, right? And then she goes, I'm like, you better not be lighting any candles, all right? So just keep that shit unlit, all right? Did I talk about the candle budget? It's through the roof, all right? A lot of candles being lit, but you know, they're not like Yankee candles, all right? They can't be just like fancy cinnamon flavored or cinnamon smelling candles. Apparently, you can't curse somebody with a Yankee candle. You need it to be like a Game of Thrones fucking big boy candle that's shaped like a dragon or something. Some real talk. I did come home the other day, and she had a wreath over our door, like our bedroom door. And I know when I say wreath, you guys are thinking like, oh, fancy, fun Christmas wreath. No, this thing had like fucking bones, all right? It had like hair in it. You know, I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't know what kind of deal with the devil I'm making, though, if I pass this threshold, you know, so... I didn't want to walk into the Thriller music video, you know, so I haven't been in my room for 3 days, okay? Thank you guys for listening to me. I'm JD Lopez. Let's keep the show going. Appreciate it.
Give it up for JD Lopez and his white wife.
Okay, so that was the open mic. All right, it's leaving now. Usually you want to stay at least a couple comics after your set. Going up and leaving immediately is considered bad etiquette, but there's only like 2 more people in there, and it is what it is. I went up pretty late because I got there late, and that's just how it is. Gotta talk to Matt a little bit, not Matt, sorry, Ornby a little bit. So that's been fun. So now just walking back to the car, thinking about my set. Was a little more nervous knowing that I was videoing the set. So, hopefully give me a little grace on that there. But yeah, so that was a typical open mic in Denver on a Monday night. That's what it is, how it goes. I may or may not put my full set in there. Let's just say it wasn't the best, okay? Not a lot of people around, but also, I'm working on new jokes. That's the place to work on your new stuff so that you can get it ready to be on a paid show, You work on your stuff during a mic so that it shows you're good to go. It's battle tested. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I got there at like 9. What time is it now? It's 10:50. So, I got there late. There, went and said hi to some people, interviewed some people. So, 2 hours at a mic, not bad, actually. Not a bad time at a mic. Mutiny Information Cafe, you should check it out. I was talking to Jose McCall about that. So, definitely want to see that. Or you should definitely check that show out if you are free on a Thursday night for that mic. Also a good one here on Broadway. All right, well, I guess I'll record more in the car if I feel like there's more to say. But, there it is. That's how it goes. And then you just keep doing that. You keep putting your name on the list. You get funnier. People start recognizing it. You start seeing the same familiar faces. You see some people that, you have similar comedy sensibilities with. You kind of just, start talking to them, Try not to bother too many people right up front, I would say. Just my experience at mics. A lot of comics are jaded, waiting for their time, waiting to do their thing. So if you're too gung-ho about, wanting them to be your best friend because you think they're so funny, a lot of people are just like, hey, I know this game burns through a lot of people, so I don't think it's worth getting to know a new face unless you've been around for a while. And that's just how it is. Don't take it personally. I think I did take it too personally when I started. So there's some comics I've held a grudge against for too long, and I know it's not fair, but it is what it is. And just getting back in my car here. But anyways, just say try not to take anything too personally, and you'll just be cool. When you're funny, people come up to you, they'll tell you they like that joke. Some people might try to give you tags for a joke. I guess just try not to be too arrogant, I guess, for that. If you don't want to hear it, then just say like, hey man, that's cool or whatever. But just say thanks or whatever, be gracious. But you're gonna get a lot of people telling you what you should be doing, how you should be doing stuff. You can, like anything, you take what works for you and leave what doesn't. And hopefully you build a fun community, a fun, good, supportive community, and you grow together. So, all right, I guess that's all for this episode of, Comedy in Denver. How to do comedy in Denver or something. I don't know what I'm going to call the series yet. Thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of it. And hopefully I'll see you out at a mic.